Today I'm going to help you answer the question, should I warm up my engine before I drive it or not? And to answer that question correctly, we're going to have a little history lesson here. When I was young, everything had carburetors on them. And I'm so old, they actually had hand chokes on them. Hand chokes made them idle faster. When you pulled on them, they idled faster, and once they warmed up, you turned the choke off. So you had to warm them up before you drove them. And then they had carburetors that had electronic chokes on them. You didn't have to pull any cable. It was all done automatically. But you still want to start it up, let it warm up a little bit, then hit the gas. It would idle down some, and then drive. But even with modern carburation, it still wouldn't get the air-fuel ratio perfect so the car would run well and wouldn't damage the engine by running too rich or too lean. Then the game changer came, which was fuel injector. Now this is a 24-year-old Toyota Celica. It's got electronic fuel injection, but it's an older system. It doesn't have a MAF sensor to measure how much air is coming into the engine. And it only has one oxygen sensor to monitor the air-fuel ratio. The modern cars have many different sensors. Some as many as 4, and the modern ones don't even call the front one oxygen sensor. They call them air-fuel ratio sensors. They're much faster and much more accurate, so the engine will always get the right amount of fuel no matter what the temperature, humidity, or whatever. It finally got cold here in Houston, so I can show you the difference. Here's the 24-year-old one when I started up cold. You can see it's idling pretty high as it warms up. But here's a more modern Toyota Matrix, and watch the difference when it starts up ice cold. You can see even though it's ice cold, it's idling much lower than the older one was because it's got a much more complicated fuel injection system that can meter things better. And this is still a 10-year-old one. The newer ones are even more sophisticated. So in any modern day car, you don't need to warm up the engine before you drive, but of course, you have to be logical about this. If your car's covered in snow and ice, heck, you gotta let it warm up so you're warm inside and you get the snow and ice off. And then now some guys will say, well, I want my engine to warm up so the oil flows. Modern cars use very lightweight oils. They flow immediately. Unless you live where it's 50 below or something, you don't have to worry about the oil not flowing in any modern car. So now you know, unless you're driving some old antique that's got carburetors on it, you don't need to warm up your engine before you drive. And remember, if you've got any questions, just visit the Scotty Kilmer channel.